All right, part two, responding to grannies. You got that meter out, you got it in that clean, fresh air, and the dang on thing will not uh, get to zero, right? It's been 5 minutes and it's just still not returning to zero. So what do you think you want to do? Oh man, I know that this meter, I can force zero it, right? Terrible idea, right? We're changing our frame of reference. If there's anybody in the crowd that's a long range shooter, would you just start willy-nilly changing your windage and elevation screws and move that point of reference? You're just going to be dumping rounds downrange and into the air, and you don't have that point of reference that you used to have, right? You're going to make a tactful decision to change it. It's the same thing with the meter. When you zero a sensor that still has a number showing on it, you're telling that meter, hey, that 5 parts per million is now your 0 part per million. The only way that that's ever going to change is when you bump test it and it fails, and or you calibrate it and it tells the meter, hey, this is what 0 parts per million looks like. This is what 35 parts per million looks like. When we zero them meters, or we zero a sensor and force it in the street, if I did that today, I'm changing your point of reference for tomorrow's shift. And if you imagine if you stack that up day after day for 2 weeks before it bump tests or calibrates, you can really change the point of reference. And with something like HCN that has an STEL of 5 parts per million, there's not much wiggle room. So talking about that wiggle room, right? If you look at our chart right here, you see where we hit that 35 parts per million, and then we went back down into that 5, and that 5 has stayed constant through that minute mark. This is where it's important. If we reset that 0 point to where it's at 5, we've now changed our point of reference for the meter, and we could potentially start going into toxic atmospheres, and that meter is not changing the reading yet because it's not higher than its new 0 point. So if we're to encounter a meter at this point doing this, the best thing to do is to bump test that meter and or calibrate it and make sure it's still working like it should be.